Hi, I'm Adam Sherman, and I'm here to talk to you about the power of imagination. Here you can see I am walking up the stairs.
Kinda boring, isn't it? But if we use the power of imagination, it becomes something more wonderful. It becomes Gondor. No, it becomes heaven.
Apart from making my life less boring via whatever that was, my imagination can also help me to improve my skills. For example, right now, I sound worse playing bass than Scott Pilgrim does. But in my head, I can be a rock star. Dream and differ from the hollow lines. This is the dawning of the rest of our lives. And cut.
Another way imagination helps me is it helps me think up some really cool stuff. For example, I imagined everything I'm about to read to you. The old storyteller watched as the car broke down outside the house. It was an old convertible with a boxer front end, boxer rear, and generally built like a box. He watched as the four teenagers extricated themselves. 2 boys, 2 girls. They were obviously college kids, going across the painted desert to hit Vegas and L.A. Storyteller watched as the driver, a tall, dark-haired pet boy wearing a long-sleeved shirt and jeans, got out and began kicking the car, not noticing the hole in the hood, about 7.6 to 2 millimeters in diameter. The other boy, an even bigger person, both from shoulder to shoulder and head to toe, with close-cropped blonde hair and a tan, yelled, I don't think it works that way." The other boy turned his head and snapped, "Yeah, I know. Now shut up, you Wookie." The Wookie's girlfriend, a tall and curvy blonde, almost as tall as her boyfriend, yelled, "Shut up, Justin. I thought I told you. Only I can call Blake a Wookie." In response to this impassioned defense, Blake gave her a possessive hug and whispered, "Thanks, Lynn." Justin's girlfriend, a short and dark-haired girl, raised her hand. Justin pointed at her. "Yeah, Jeannie?" Jeannie answered, Justin, for the past 100 miles, I've had 0 bars. Just, throwing that out there." Justin threw up his hands. "Great! Here we are in the middle of the stupid painted desert with no car and no phone and an abandoned shack on one side and a coyote watching us on the other." It was true. There was nothing as far as the eyes could see except sand, road, the coyote, and small house a few yards from the road. Storyteller, who could see and hear farther than almost anyone, walked out onto the porch and in a low drawl called out to the 4 teenagers, "Y'all want to come in before the sun gets you?" The 4 looked at each other, then Justin said, "Well, he may have a phone, right?" Blake nodded and said, Sure, mister. Let me set out some traffic signs." As the 3 friends had moved behind him As his three friends went into the house, Blake opened the trunk and reached for the bag of flares. He didn't notice the coyote had moved behind him until he turned around. There it was, sitting and looking at him with a rather calculating expression, with its head cocked and its eyes narrowed. Blake, mistaking this for cuteness, said, "Sorry, little guy, I don't have anything for you." The coyote turned around and walked towards the house. On its way there, its form blurred and changed until suddenly Blake was looking at a beautiful woman in a V-necked white cloth dress, similar to what one thinks of when they think of ancient Greece. Her long brown hair, the same color as the coyote's, covered a quiver of arrows. She held an ornate wooden bow in a slender, pale hand, and an arrow ready to be fired. Her bearing was half gymnast, half royalty. Blake, in a hurry, put out the flares, then ran after her. He caught up with her just as she was about to knock. Blake asked nonchalantly, "So, how often are you a dog?" He realized about how stupid it sounded barely a millisecond into the slow second it took for the woman's head to turn around and to the left and fix him with an expression of contempt. Sorry, he said, then continued. You prefer coyote, right? The woman's expression of contempt did not waver as she opened the door and marched in. Blake peered in behind her. The room was filled with pictures, cave paintings, portraits, sketches, sepia color, and black and white photos covered the room. Some were of people smiling, some were obviously surveillance photos, others were prominent people posing, and many others, all obscuring each other. Blake swore he saw a painting of George Washington crossing the Delaware, slightly obscured by what looked like Whitey Bulger giving a briefcase to Stephen the Rifleman Flemmy, and the famous picture of Truman holding up a paper reading Dewey defeats Truman. These were all pinned to the bookcase, and to his left. To his right was a wall. The room had been set up like a living room. There were 3 armchairs and a couch, upholstered with photos and paintings, were positioned around a velvet armchair with its back to a fireplace. Blake's friends were looking around the room, staring at the various photos. Hi, we have run into technical difficulties because this host is a complete wimp. Please excuse the interruption while he enjoys a nice Coca-Cola product. Thank you for your patience. Man, I really need to work on my voice acting. I couldn't even read through the entire chapter. Well, at least I have a nice drink of Coke to calm my throat. I'm really bad at this, aren't I?